Dude, how's everybody doing today? Another week has come and gone. It was an actually nice week, huh? Was the weather pretty nice? Did you get a suntan? You got a tan line on his hand from fishing. It's been a beautiful week to be on the water. We hit it hard starting on Monday. Caught a bunch of fish. We can chase game fish. It was the fishing opener last weekend. It was great. We chased bass. We chased some walleyes. We chased some pike. We caught some big smallmouth. This was a really fun week, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun. You got out fishing. What happened? You caught your PB?
Bass.
Brody caught his PB bass. He broke that 4-pound mark. Big old largemouth. Pretty awesome. We're going to talk about how we caught our fish this week. Some things that worked for us. Share a few tips. Jump into it. I did want to mention this hat I'm wearing, Minfish. You need to research Minfish. Type it in. Learn it. They're doing great things for our sport. They're doing a phenomenal job trying to raise funds to help increase things like stocking efforts, but also taking care of docks and accesses and putting fish back where they need to be, bolstering our fishing world. They're doing tons of great stuff. I'm very proud to be working for Clam Outdoors, where the owner of our company sits on the board for Minfish. I happen to know most of the board members myself. They're friends of mine. They're doing good things. So research Minfish, support it the best you can, follow along with them, go to their Minfish social media, Facebook page, give them a like, follow them, comment, share the stuff they're doing. It goes to a good cause and it helps us in Minnesota have better fishing for you, for years to come, right? You want to catch bigger fish, more fish? There you go. Awesome. So this week was awesome. Water temps skyrocketed. We saw water temps as high as almost 70. Now it's surface temp, so it's relative. So we're talking 65 to 68 degree surface temp. Although when we started fishing the other day, it was cold. Surface temp said 54. Brody wouldn't go swimming. He actually had a jacket on. You didn't want to go swimming? Okay. And it did warm up into the mid 60s by the time we were done. So that's the time of year. These fish are really moving up. The bass fishing is really good right now. Everything's up against the bank. I should say, maybe not necessarily always up against the bank, but shallower, right? We're talking 2 to 6 feet of water is definitely key. We caught them a ton of different ways. I'll explain how I caught them. Brody's got a bunch of good stuff on how he caught his fish. But chatterbait swim jigs, right? Moving baits are catching a bunch of fish. Wacky rigs. We caught a lot of fish on a wacky rig, Kamita. In fact, on Monday, I brought my wife out fishing and I lost. She outfished me with a wacky rig. That's all she literally threw the entire day and beat me in our one-on-one bass competition. And I was throwing everything plus the kitchen sink, swim jigs, chatterbaits, swim baits. I even threw a wacky rig. I threw everything at these fish and she outfished me with the wacky rig. Slow concentration. She caught more fish than me, so that can make sense. However, later in the week, moving baits were king. Chatterbait, swim jig. I was throwing a sassy swimmer around. This is actually what caught some of our better fish. This is just a drop TG jig head. That's a tungsten jig head, and that's that sassy swimmer from Mr. Twister. This catches a ton of fish. It catches a variety of fish. It catches bass, walleyes, pike. Pike like to break that off, but it works really well. If you just want to go fishing, that's an easy one, and that's that sassy swimmer. Love this bait. Really become a fan of it. Very durable. Runs true. Super simple. I put it on a spinning rod, 15-pound main braid. I put a 6 or 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. Tie that drop TG. Throw my favorite color of this on, and away I go. Catches a whole bunch of fish. I expect this to continue. Move. Put your foot in the trolling motor. Fan cast. These fish are moving. They're grooving. It's not like the summertime where you're going to spot lock on a deep weed line or something to that effect. They're up against the bank, so you can chase them. It's a really fun time to go fishing. Dude, you ready to chat or what? Talk about how you caught your fish? So Brody's got 3 setups here on how he caught fish. What do you got there to start?
SLX DC.
You got a SLX DC from Shimano. That's a digitally controlled bait caster, which is great, especially for young kids like this. It's under $200. It helps them learn to use a bait caster because it slows down that braking system in case he has wind conditions or maybe miscasts, but he's not backlashing as much. So, and you got some braided line on there. And what's this?
Chatterbait.
Chatterbait. You caught a big one on that day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Chatterbait Willie, so he was throwing, I'll put this up here by the camera, he was throwing that Z-Man chatterbait. That's a green pumpkin blue. We put a little tail on that. 3/8 ounce chatterbait. You can chuck this thing quite a long ways, dude. I seen you almost hit some docks. Almost hit a couple trees. That's okay, that's part of the game. And that's a cast and retrieve bait. So that's the chatterbait. Here, I'll hold this. What else do you got there, dude? What's the next one? Oh yeah, we caught a bunch of fish on that. You hold that this end. What do we got? Is that Ned rig?
Yeah.
How do you fish that? Cast and let it sit?
Yeah.
Yep. So caught some fish on that. So Brody, this is the little Ned rig. He's got a little Z-Man Ned head, little back end of a Senko there. And he's using on this, he's using a Mojo bass rod. This is a medium light 7-footer, and this is just kind of a cool reel that he got on the internet for a birthday present, of course, in true Brody fashion. We did some blue line, fluorocarbon leader, and you caught some fish on that, didn't you? We got some largemouth bass and smallmouth bass. That's a Ned rig, always works. And then what's the last presentation there that your buddy Sam Sobey trained you to catch fish on? In fact, what's this rod?
The Sam Sobey rod.
Sam Sobey special from Dobbins. So Sobey got this for Brody, and he's doing a little drop shot action. So another way we caught some fish was a drop shot. He was trying to catch some smallmouth, and that was a whole lot of fun. Fun way to catch them, huh? And last but not least, why don't you talk about what you got going on over there, and we'll give our viewers a nice tip.
It's a chatterbait that I practiced on.
A bait caster. So what he's doing with this is, I'll show you what we got on the receiving end of this. This is a beat up jig that I duct taped, and it's basically a cast weight, but it's the same weight as a jig that he'd be throwing. And Brody's learning, like we all are, how to use bait casters better. So he's in the yard, chucking and winding this thing, looking at objects, trying to cast in buckets. We have a lot of fun doing that, me and Brody and the other boys, chucking bait casters in the yard. Make sure you cut the hook off, tape it up, do something like that so you're not busting things out. It's also softer with that in case he hits my truck. So he's practicing the bait caster. You're getting pretty good. Doing pretty good. Hold on to that. So that's the way we're catching our fish. That's the way Brody caught his fish. We're anticipating that being consistent this entire week. Water temps are continuing to increase. We are seeing some bass on their beds. The walleyes are up shallow as well, and they're on the weed lines. Pike are everywhere. I didn't really chase any panfish or crappies this week. Sorry, folks. I will probably next week, but that's what's going on. Next weekend is Memorial Weekend. We're going to head into Wisconsin and spend a few days chasing some fish. So we'll see. I'll try to get a report out to you. It might be Monday. I'm not exactly sure when it'll come out. But if I don't talk to you, have a phenomenal holiday weekend. Be safe, be respectful on the water. Remember, everyone out there is trying to have a good time. I get it. It's frustrating, especially at the boat ramps. Just be respectful. Maybe start a conversation, have some fun, high-five them, chat about fishing, and even maybe lend a hand. And everyone will get on the water safe and sound and catch more fish. So any parting words?
See ya.
See ya. Brody says see ya. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, Brody.